Some of the most effective skincare ingredients in the world are sitting in your kitchen. A few of the most damaging ones are too. The problem with DIY beauty content is that it rarely explains why something works, which makes it nearly impossible to know when something won't. What follows is a breakdown of both. The DIY recipes with genuine evidence behind them, and the ones that look convincing on video and cause real damage in practice. What works? Colloidal oatmeal. Colloidal oatmeal is oats ground fine enough to disperse in water and sit against the skin. It is one of the few DIY ingredients with FDA recognition as a skin protectant, a category that requires demonstrated evidence of safety and efficacy, not just tradition. Oats contain avenanthramides, a class of compounds with documented anti-inflammatory and anti-itch properties. They also contain beta-glucan, a polysaccharide that forms a film on the skin surface and reduces moisture loss. The research on colloidal oatmeal for conditions like eczema and contact dermatitis is substantial enough that it's a standard ingredient in prescription-adjacent skincare. To make it, grind plain rolled oats in a blender until they're a fine powder. Mix with warm water to form a paste. Apply to clean skin for 10 to 15 minutes and rinse. It calms reactive or irritated skin without any actives that could cause further sensitivity. What works? Honey. Raw honey is one of the oldest documented wound-healing substances, and the research behind it is legitimate. Honey is a humectant. It draws moisture from the air and holds it against the skin. It's also mildly antibacterial because it produces small amounts of hydrogen peroxide and has a low water activity that limits bacterial growth. Manuka honey in particular has been studied in clinical wound care settings with consistent results. Applied as a mask, raw honey on clean skin for 20 minutes hydrates, calms inflammation, and doesn't disrupt the skin barrier. It rinses off cleanly with warm water. It's appropriate for most skin types, including sensitive and acne-prone skin. The antibacterial properties are modest at skincare concentrations, but they're real. What works? Fermented rice water. The Yao women of Huanglua village in southern China are often cited in hair care discussions for their extraordinarily long hair, which many attribute to a traditional practice of rinsing hair with fermented rice water. The story is real, and the chemistry behind it is more interesting than the legend. Fermented rice water contains inositol, a carbohydrate that penetrates the hair shaft and repairs it from the inside. Inositol is the specific molecule cosmetic researchers point to when explaining why rice water works. It also contains amino acids, vitamins B and E, and a small amount of ferulic acid, an antioxidant. To ferment it, soak a cup of uncooked rice in 2 cups of water for 24 to 48 hours at room temperature. Then strain and use the liquid as a final rinse after shampooing. Leave it on for a few minutes, then rinse with cool water. It strengthens strands over repeated use, not immediately. The improvement builds over several weeks. What works? Sugar body scrub. A simple mixture of granulated sugar and a carrier oil, coconut, almond, or olive, makes an effective physical exfoliant for the body. Sugar granules are slightly smaller and less jagged than salt, which makes them gentler on the skin surface while still removing dead skin cells. The important caveat: this belongs on the body, not the face. Facial skin is thinner and more vascular than body skin. Physical exfoliation with granular ingredients on the face creates micro tears that compromise the barrier and cause long-term sensitivity. Below the neck, a sugar and oil scrub used once or twice a week is straightforward and effective. On the face, it isn't. What to skip? Lemon juice. Lemon juice has a pH of around 2 to 3. Healthy skin sits at a pH of around 4.5 to 5.5. Applying lemon juice directly to the skin disrupts the acid mantle, strips the barrier, and causes irritation, even when you don't notice it immediately. The problem compounds significantly in sunlight. Lemon juice contains psoralins, compounds that become phototoxic when activated by UV light. Applying lemon juice to skin and then going outside can cause hyperpigmentation reactions that are difficult to reverse. The premise, that the citric acid brightens skin, isn't wrong in theory. The concentration and pH in whole lemon juice make it unsuitable for direct skin application. What to skip? Baking soda. Baking soda has a pH of around 9. Applying it to skin pushes the surface pH dramatically above the healthy range, strips the skin's natural microbiome, and damages the acid mantle in ways that can take weeks to recover from. The idea that it deep cleans or balances pH is the opposite of accurate. Skin is already slightly acidic for a reason. That acidity inhibits harmful bacteria and supports the enzymes that maintain the skin barrier. Baking soda applied to the face undoes that system. DIY baking soda face masks are one of the more reliably harmful suggestions that circulate in beauty content. What to skip? apple cider vinegar and toothpaste. Apple cider vinegar undiluted sits at a pH of around 2 to 3, making it as problematic as lemon juice. Diluted significantly, roughly 1 part ACV to 10 parts water, it approaches a safer range for skin, but at that dilution the active concentration is minimal. The risk-to-benefit ratio doesn't hold up. Toothpaste on spots is one of the most persistent DIY myths. Modern toothpaste contains no active acne-fighting ingredients. Menthol, fluoride, and sulfates are irritants on facial skin. Any apparent drying effect comes from that irritation, not from acne treatment. The inflammation it creates makes post-acne marks worse, not better. DIY beauty works when the ingredient has evidence behind it, and the mechanism makes sense. Knowing the pH, the function, and the skin surface you're applying it to turns most of these decisions into straightforward ones. The kitchen contains some genuinely useful ingredients. It also contains a few things that should stay in the kitchen.